For centuries, the galaxy had watched humanity with bored eyes. To most alien empires, humans were small, fragile, and noisy creatures. They had only a few fleets, a few colonies, and no great power to threaten the stars. The galaxy thought humanity was weak, but the galaxy was wrong. In the dark corners of space, far from alien eyes, humanity worked in silence. They did not boast. They did not announce. They did not ask for permission. They only built. And what they built was beyond imagination. Hidden inside asteroid belts, deep within gas clouds, and buried under layers of rock, giant shipyards came alive. Men and women worked their entire lives inside those secret halls. Their children were born there. Their children grew old there, and still the building continued. Generations passed, but the project never stopped. These were not ships of normal size. They were not cruisers or carriers. They were not dreadnoughts. No, these were something else. These were warships the size of planets. From the outside, they looked like small moons covered in metal, sleeping in silence. For inside, miles and miles of tunnels, engines, and weapon systems stretched into the darkness. Whole cities existed inside them. Entire populations could live and die within their walls. The galaxy never knew alien scouts sometimes wandered close. A few even saw strange shadows drifting in human space. But when they reported these moving moons, their leaders only laughed. Humans. The alien rulers sneered. They can barely protect their colonies. Do you think they can build something so large? And so the warnings were ignored. The builders continued their work in silence. It was not easy. The project demanded everything. Earth itself gave resources until it had nothing left. Colonies mined their worlds to dust. Workers sacrificed their lives in accidents, in collapses, in reactor failures. Yet not one voice rose to stop the work, because all of humanity knew one truth. The galaxy did not respect the weak. And so the weak could not remain weak forever. Years turned into decades, decades into centuries. Humanity's warships grew in the shadows. Engines the size of mountains were forged. Cannons larger than skyscrapers were installed. Armor thicker than cities was laid across their surface. These were not just ships. They were weapons of judgment. Sometimes a child born in the shipyards would look up at the endless metal ceiling and ask, "Why are we building this?" And the elders would answer, "Because one day the galaxy will come for us." And on that day they must learn that humanity was never weak. And so the work never stopped. Alien fleets passed by human space, careless and arrogant. They never looked too deep. They never imagined what was hiding beneath the quiet face of humanity. They never guessed that, hidden in silence, a new kind of monster was being forged. The first warship was nearly complete now. Its body stretched wider than a small world. Its core pulsed with the energy of a sun. Inside, thousands of engineers tested its systems. Every switch, every cannon, every shield was checked and checked again. From the outside, it looked like just another cold rock floating through space. But within it was alive, alive and waiting. In secret councils, the leaders of humanity spoke in whispers. They never recorded their meetings. They never sent their words across open channels. One of them asked, "What if the galaxy discovers our plan before we finish?" Another answered, "Then we are already dead." And the room went silent, for now the galaxy slept. The aliens believed humanity was still small, still harmless. They laughed at human fleets. They mocked human colonies. But one day soon those same aliens would look to the sky and realize the sky itself had turned against them. For what they thought were moons were not moons at all. They were the first of humanity's planet-sized warships, and when they awakened, the galaxy would tremble. The galaxy was vast, filled with countless stars, and humanity was only a small part of it. To the great alien empires, Earth was nothing but a young race still learning to walk among the stars. They thought humans were noisy, reckless, and weak, but beneath that mask of weakness, the giants were waiting, deep in the shadows of gas clouds, hidden under the cover of radiation storms. The massive warships slept. They drifted slowly, their surfaces disguised as cold rock and dust. From far away, even the most advanced alien sensors saw only asteroids or moons. But they were not moons. They were machines of war, larger than anything the galaxy had ever known. Inside those warships, thousands of workers lived their lives. Entire families had grown old inside the endless tunnels and metallic walls. They had never seen the open skies of Earth. Their only sky was the glowing steel above their heads, yet none of them complained. None of them doubted. They were building humanity's secret. For generations, humanity had poured everything into this hidden project. Resources from dead colonies, minerals mined from frozen worlds, energy harvested from dying stars. Everything went into the giants, and the galaxy never noticed. Sometimes, alien scouts passed close to the construction zones. A few even captured strange readings, massive energy surges, unusual movements in empty sectors. But their commanders always laughed. Humans? No, they do not have the technology. They do not have the strength. The warnings were dismissed. Reports were buried. And so the giants continued to grow. In the secret shipyards, the scale of the machines was overwhelming. One cannon could fire a blast strong enough to shatter continents. A single engine could move a mountain. Shield generators spread across the surface like cities of light. Each warship was not just a vessel, it was a floating world. But still, the builders worked in silence. They knew the day of revelation was not yet here. A council leader once said, "We must never awaken them too early. The galaxy cannot know until the moment comes. If they discover our giants before we are ready, all will be lost." And so the warships drifted quietly in the dark, their hearts beating slowly like sleeping beasts. Yet rumors began to spread. In distant taverns, traders whispered of strange ghost worlds moving through human space. Some claimed to have seen shadows the size of small planets, glowing faintly with hidden lights. Most dismissed these tales as drunken stories, but a few listened. A few began to wonder if humanity was not as weak as it seemed. One alien commander, suspicious of the silence, sent a fleet to investigate. For weeks his ships scanned human borders, searching for answers. Then one of his scouts reported something unusual. "A moon is moving," the scout said. "Slowly, but it moves." The commander frowned. "Moons do not move." But before he could order a deeper investigation, the signal cut off. The scout's ship never returned. The report was dismissed, marked as equipment error, and the galaxy remained blind. Back in the hidden shipyards, the workers knew what had happened. The giants had stirred. One of the sleeping warships had adjusted its position. A test, perhaps, or a warning. The builders whispered among themselves. Soon, the first warship was almost complete now. Its core burned with silent power. Its weapons stood ready, though never yet fired. Its hull gleamed like a dead world, reflecting no light, keeping its secrets hidden. The galaxy believed humanity was harmless, but humanity had built giants. And when the day came that those giants would rise, the stars themselves would shake. For centuries, the giants had slept. They drifted in silence, hidden as shadows among asteroids and dust clouds. The galaxy passed them by, blind and arrogant, never once realizing what waited in the dark. But now one of the warships stirred. It began with a hum. Deep inside its endless steel walls, the engines awoke for the first time. The sound was low, like the heartbeat of a god. Lights flickered across the ship's vast interior. Tunnels that had been dark for decades now glowed with power. Inside, thousands of workers stopped what they were doing. They looked around, feeling the vibration beneath their feet. For generations they had built in silence. Now they heard the voice of the giant they had created. The first warship was alive. Its core pulsed like a newborn star. Energy flowed through its veins of steel. Massive cannons extended slowly from the surface, each one as large as mountains. Shield arrays flared to life, surrounding the warship in a faint glow. From the outside, it still looked like a dead moon, drifting silently in the void. But inside, it was a beast stretching its limbs for the very first time. In the hidden council chambers, humanity's leaders watched the activation through silent screens. None of them spoke for several minutes. Finally, one whispered, "It works." Another added, "The galaxy must not know." Not yet. And so, even as the warship awakened, orders were sent to keep it hidden. No signals, no transmissions, only silence. But secrets never stay hidden forever. On the far edge of human space, an alien patrol picked up a strange energy surge. Their instruments glowed with readings they could not explain. "It is as if a star is being born," one officer said. The commander laughed. "Perhaps your machines are broken." "There are no stars forming here." Still, curiosity gnawed at him. He sent a scout closer. The scout crept into the human system. At first he saw nothing unusual. only a barren rock drifting through space. But then his sensors screamed. The moon was alive. Its surface glowed faintly with power. Lines of light traced across the metal crust. Slowly, the giant began to move. The scout froze. "This is not possible," he whispered. Before he could transmit a full report, his ship vanished from the scanners. Back in the alien fleet, silence filled the bridge. The commander waited for the scout's return, but it never came. He shook his head. "Humans," he muttered. "Always clumsy. Their machines break, their ships vanish. Nothing to fear." And with that he ordered his fleet to leave. But in the darkness behind them the giant watched. For the first time its massive eyes, sensors the size of cities, focused on the galaxy around it. It remained still, silent, patient, because humanity was not ready to reveal its secret yet. Inside the warship, the builders celebrated quietly. Many of them wept. For generations, their families had sacrificed everything for this moment. Now their creation had life. One engineer placed his hand on the glowing wall and whispered, "Awake, child of Earth. Awake and remember who you are built for." Still, whispers spread through the galaxy. Traders spoke of strange lights in human space. Rumors grew of moving worlds and sleeping gods. Most dismissed them as fairy tales, but a few listened. A few began to suspect that humanity was not as weak as it seemed. In the secret council, one leader finally spoke the words none dared to say aloud. "If even one of these giants awakens, no empire will stand against us," another answered, his voice calm and cold. "Then the galaxy will learn the truth. Humanity was never weak. We were only silent." And so the first warship waited. It drifted like a dead rock hiding its power. But inside its heart burned brighter with every passing moment. The galaxy still laughed at humans. The galaxy still believed in their weakness. But soon when the giant fully awakened, the laughter would end. For this was not a moon. This was not a station. This was humanity's first planet-sized warship, and when it moved, the galaxy would tremble. The galaxy had always laughed at humanity. Too small, too fragile, too loud. No empire feared them. No empire respected them. But that would change in a single night. It began with an attack. A coalition of alien fleets crossed into human space, confident and proud. They brought hundreds of warships, their banners shining like fire in the dark. Their leaders had grown tired of humanity's stubborn expansion. "They are weak," the alien commanders said. "Crush their colonies. Burn their worlds. Let them remember their place." The fleets moved quickly, striking at an outlying human system. They expected little resistance, perhaps a few small ships, maybe some ground forces. But what they found was something else. As their fleets closed in, they noticed a strange moon drifting near the human colony. At first they ignored it. A moon could not harm them. But then the moon moved. Not slowly like a natural object in orbit. No, it turned deliberately, facing the alien armada. Engines roared to life across its surface. The moon unfolded like a machine awakening from deep sleep. Glowing lines of energy spread across its metal skin. The aliens froze. "That is no moon," one commander whispered. And then the giant spoke. Its cannons lit up bright as suns, and a single beam of energy tore through space. The first alien fleet vanished in an instant. Dozens of ships exploded, their fragments scattered like dust in the void. Panic filled the enemy lines. Their commanders shouted, their formations collapsed. "What is that thing? Retreat." Impossible. "Humanity cannot build this." But it was real. The first planet-sized warship had awakened. The galaxy had always thought of humans as prey. Now they saw hunters. The warship fired again. Whole squadrons disappeared. Shield walls shattered like glass. Every shot was a storm. Every blast a sun tearing through the night. Alien crews screamed as their ships broke apart. Their fleets crushed like insects beneath a titan's foot. In the human colony below, civilians watched in awe. For years they had lived under the shadow of alien threats. They had expected to die when the fleets arrived. Instead, they saw salvation. Children pressed their faces against windows. Elders fell to their knees in silence. The colony's skies burned with fire, but it was not human cities that were burning. It was the enemy. One farmer whispered, "We are not weak anymore." Above, the alien commanders tried to rally their fleets. They threw everything they had at the giant. Missiles, plasma, beams, all hurled against its surface, But the warship's shields glowed and held strong. Weapons that could shatter cities barely scratched its armor. The giant did not fall. It only grew angrier. Back in the alien capitals, news spread like wildfire. Reports came in of an impossible machine, a weapon larger than a world, built by humans in secret. Some leaders refused to believe. "This is madness," they shouted. "A trick, a lie." But survivors from the battle told the truth, and the galaxy trembled. In the secret human council, the leaders watched the destruction unfold on silent screens. For the first time, they did not hide their satisfaction. "It works," one said simply. Another added, "Let the galaxy laugh now." When the battle ended, the alien fleets were gone. Burned, broken, scattered. Only wreckage remained, drifting among the stars, and still the giant stood, silent, watching, waiting. The message was clear. Humanity had risen. Humanity was no longer prey. Humanity was the nightmare the galaxy had created for itself. Word spread across the stars faster than light. Traders whispered it in taverns. Soldiers spoke of it in hushed voices. Civilians prayed they would never see it. The name of the humans changed that day. They were no longer weak. They were no longer fragile. They were the builders of giants. The galaxy had seen the truth. The first planet-sized warship had awakened, and this was only the beginning. The galaxy had witnessed the impossible. One warship the size of a planet had destroyed an entire fleet in a single battle. The news spread like wildfire, racing from star to star, whispered in fear. For the first time, the galaxy looked at humanity not with laughter, but with terror. Alien leaders gathered in secret councils. Some demanded immediate war, believing humanity must be crushed before they built more monsters. Others begged for peace, afraid of provoking the giants again. But all of them asked the same question. Was it only one? In the dark halls of human command, the answer was already clear. The first warship was not alone. Deep inside asteroid fields, more giants slept. Some were nearly complete. Some were still under construction. Entire hidden dockyards buzzed with workers, their lives devoted to finishing the impossible. 5 more warships were waiting. Human leaders spoke in low voices, their faces lit only by the glow of strategy screens. "The galaxy believes there is only one," one said. "Good," another replied. "Fear of one is powerful. Fear of many will break them." They did not rush to reveal their full strength. They let the galaxy's fear grow slowly, like a fire spreading through dry grass. Meanwhile, alien spies hunted desperately for answers. Scouts slipped into human space searching for proof. Most never returned. The few who survived brought back fragments, images of massive shapes hidden in clouds, faint energy signatures stronger than stars, glimpses of glowing metal stretching across the void. The reports were chilling. If even half of them were true, then humanity had become untouchable. In taverns and marketplaces across the galaxy, civilians whispered in fear. They say the humans built a weapon bigger than a world. They say it destroyed a fleet in minutes. They say there are more. Merchants avoided human space. Soldiers muttered about resigning. Ordinary citizens looked at the night sky and prayed the giants would never come to their worlds. But fear had a way of turning into chaos. One alien empire, desperate to show strength, gathered a massive armada. Hundreds of ships, thousands of weapons. Their leaders boasted loudly, "Let the humans come. We will prove the warship was a trick. We will remind them who rules the stars." The armada advanced, crossing the border into human territory. And waiting for them was not one giant. It was 2. When the alien armada arrived, they froze. 2 moons moved together, their surfaces glowing with power. Their engines lit the dark like suns. The aliens tried to retreat, but it was too late. The giants fired. The first beam cut through dozens of ships in a single strike. The second warship unleashed a storm of fire so powerful, whole squadrons vanished instantly. The armada never stood a chance. What was meant to be a show of strength became a massacre. The galaxy watched in silence as 2 planet-sized warships erased hundreds of ships as if they were nothing. Back in their hidden shipyards, the builders smiled. Their work was not finished yet. More giants would awaken soon. Humanity's strength was still growing, and the galaxy had only seen the beginning. In alien capitals, fear turned into panic. Some leaders tried to surrender, sending messages of peace to Earth. Others shouted for war, desperate to unite the galaxy before it was too late. But unity was impossible. Distrust grew between the empires. Each feared that if they stood against humanity, they would be the next target. And so the galaxy fractured. Humanity had done nothing more than reveal two of its giants. And already the galaxy was falling apart. One human commander, watching the chaos unfold, whispered to himself, "They thought we were weak. They thought we were prey. But now they see the truth. Humanity was never weak. Humanity was only waiting." The galaxy now lived in fear of a question they could not answer. How many giants had humanity truly built? The galaxy had always believed humans were fragile. They mocked them. They ignored them. They called them weak. But the galaxy no longer laughed, because now the stars themselves belonged to humanity. 2 planet-sized warships had already erased fleets with ease. Alien empires were in shock, their citizens in fear. Leaders argued in desperation, some begging for alliances, others calling for war. But no one could ignore the truth anymore. Humanity had become something new. In the hidden shipyards, deep in asteroid belts and black nebulae, more giants stirred. For centuries they had slept in silence. Now one by one their hearts began to beat. Engines roared like thunder. Cannons glowed like suns. Entire hulls, larger than worlds, came alive with power. The galaxy had thought humanity possessed only one. Then they saw 2, but in reality, there were 7. 7 monsters of steel, each the size of a planet, each capable of tearing fleets apart with a single strike. The day came when humanity finally revealed them. In the blackness of space, the 7 giants moved together for the first time. From afar they looked like drifting moons, but as they turned in unison, their metal skins lit up, blazing with energy. The galaxy watched in horror as the truth spread. This was not a trick. This was not a myth. This was real. An alien broadcast captured the moment. Entire populations gathered in their cities, staring at the screens as the human giants appeared. 7 warships, silent and unchallenged, drifting like gods of war across the stars. Some fell to their knees in despair. Others wept, and many whispered the same words. The humans have become monsters. One desperate alliance of alien fleets attempted to resist. They gathered thousands of ships, the largest coalition in galactic history, and marched toward human space. Their leaders promised victory. They promised to crush the giants before it was too late. But when the battle came, the galaxy realized the truth. It was already too late. The human giants moved with terrifying grace. Their cannons fired beams that split the void, tearing through fleets like paper. Shields shattered. Engines burned. Entire squadrons vanished in storms of fire. Alien admirals screamed into their comms, but their orders meant nothing. Their fleets broke apart within minutes. Thousands of ships reduced to silence, their wreckage scattered across the stars. The battle was not a battle, it was an execution. From the colonies below, humans watched the spectacle in silence. For generations they had feared extermination. Now they saw their enemies crushed before their eyes. Children cheered. Parents wept. Soldiers saluted. Humanity was no longer a victim. Humanity was vengeance made real. In the aftermath, no alien dared attack again. Empires that had once ruled proudly now trembled like children. They sent messages begging for peace, offering tribute, even surrender. But humanity did not answer. Silence was the only reply. In the great council aboard one of the giants, the leaders of Earth spoke. Their faces were calm, their voices steady. For too long the galaxy called us weak, one said. They wanted us gone, said another. They wanted monsters, the leader whispered at last. So we became monsters. The others bowed their heads in agreement. The 7 giants continued to drift across the galaxy. They did not need to fire again. Their very presence was enough. Every empire, every fleet, every ruler now lived in fear of the day when the monsters of steel might arrive at their worlds. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy with words. They had conquered it with silence, with patience, and with warships larger than worlds. The galaxy would never forget the day the humans revealed their giants, the day moons turned into monsters, the day prey became predators, the day humanity rose from the ashes of weakness to stand as gods of war. And as the stars burned quietly above, the final truth echoed across every corner of space. The galaxy never knew. But now it would never forget.